All right, let's talk about it, shall we? All right, clap it. Yeah. Let me start off by saying something. Now, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like my channel wasn't made by Ubisoft. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm not a partner. Not gonna sit here and pretend like the 10 videos I put out prior to this one about Ubisoft didn't do gangbusters on this channel. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend. I'm not gonna apologize for it either. But everything I said in those videos, I stand by it. And everything I'm about to say in this video, I'm going to stand by it too. Because I'm the type of brother that stands on business. I'm not like you beta who don't know how to just let shit be. But that's neither here or there. How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers. And I am really nervous about Ubisoft's current predicament. And I'm saying Ubisoft as the company, as my obsession with their game isn't really what I'm in concern with. Poor business decisions will lead to horrific side effects on games. And the fact that a game that is coming out literally might have the only chance of saving them from probably going under. Because when you look at the numbers and you look at everything that Ubisoft has done in the last 10 years, it really shines a light on what happens when you become complacent. Mediocrity runs rampant throughout the senior development. When the idea of making money over making quality games matters. And when your CEO is mad that there are good games out there, which is making it tough, making it hard for his mediocre bullshit to stand amongst them. Ubisoft used to have the reputation aligned with quality, but they chipped away at it for years, whether it was from the literal DLC face swappings of their pioneer game Assassin's Creed, or the fake fidelity, water physics, graphics, and rundown of Watch Dogs 1, which would have been a premiere, and I stand by this, which would have been a premiere version pioneer game on par with Infamous. But the thing about Ubisoft is they're comfortable where they are. You don't believe me? Ubisoft literally made a game called Assassin's Creed, which is just Far Cry first person, which is just Watch Dogs with technology third person. It's Assassin's Creed with guns. They've made the same game over and over again and have literally become a meme for scattering ish all over the map to the point where it's a meme now. Where you make open world games and it takes 15 minutes for you to travel back and forth. And if you die, you don't get to fast travel. You got to do it all over again. It's a punishment. When your game sounds like a chore, it sounds like a punishment. And I don't have to play Assassin's Creed games to know this. Even in Watch Dogs 2, which was my favorite, sticking around for the DLC and doing all of those chores just didn't light a bulb in my eye. In fact, I'm adamant about not buying DLC. But this doesn't stop me from still being excited to play Assassin's Creed. My first Assassin's Creed might be my last. And it's kind of sad to say, but based on these articles, Assassin's Creed as we know it might be changing. And the question then becomes, what fills that power vacuum? What fills that void? Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft says regularly review options after buyout report. Ubisoft, maker of the Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Watch Dogs video games, said on Monday it's regularly reviewed all strategic options but declined further comments on recent reports of buyout interest. So basically, they just sent a message out to the world. Hey, if you want to buy us, hit us up. This is slang for, hey, what's up? Call me sometimes. Call me maybe. France's largest video game maker has long been seen as the takeover target and has lots and lost half of its stock market value over the last 12 months. So we'll look at the stock market, but they are basically setting up themselves to be sold off. The stock price is at the lowest it's been in years. They only have one game scheduled for release in 2025, and their studio has been consolidated and people have been moved over for reconstruction purposes, which is all corporate talk for we trying to get this shit up out of here. We trying to get this shit up out of here. So for me, the writing's on the wall. But once again, this didn't happen overnight. This has been happening since they became more centric focused on making money and buggy games at launch. Unity was such a buggy mess. PlayStation had to give people money back. That can't be happening, right? Ubisoft said in a statement that it would inform market if and when opportunities, if and when it's appropriate. Ubisoft said in a statement it would inform market if and when appropriate. A spokesperson for the company declined comments further when asked by Reuters whether the company had received any approach from potential bidders. Monday's statement followed a report last week by Bloomberg News that Ubisoft founding family, the Guillemots, and Chinese tech giant Tencent were considering a buyout. So the family's already working on this. Ubisoft is definitely going to get bought out, barring Assassin's Creed being the best game ever, right? Barring Assassin's Creed being the best game of the year, beating out Dragon Ball Z, and whatever other games came out this year. I don't know what else came out this year. Spider-Man 2, that wasn't a great game. Oh, Helldivers. But let's just say it just destroys everything. Then maybe they'll have a heartbeat. But anything less than a miracle, even if Ubisoft, and this is the tragic thing about it, even though the game will do well, because all of Assassin's Creed games do well, to assume that they don't sell 15 to 20 million is a farce. But the fact that the game will do well and the sister studio will close afterwards is going to stop a certain demographic of people on the internet who don't have two functioning brain cells to be able to say, oh, look, see, it wasn't that good. It closed the studio. But no one's going to talk about how, they let out the first two games after the second one in a buggy hell. Shares in Ubisoft initially rose by 6% on Monday after the statement topping the SBF 120 index. The Guillemots family and Tencent together hold close to 25% of Ubisoft shares in capital, LSEG data shows. After the deal in 2020 saw the Chinese group acquire close to half of the Guillemots holdings, the move capped a difficult period at Ubisoft marked by succession of delays, new video games, and management changes. Just call it what it is. You're not making quality games. Legion failed. Watch Dogs Legion was horrible. As a person who played Watch Dogs 1 and 2 and heard the idea that I could play as anybody, like any NPC, be a hacker of any sort, sounded amazing. Until you get to the dialogue tree and realize it was undercooked, underbaked, and surprisingly, Steam quality games did it better. Steam quality games did it better. There are indie devs who have done role-playing multiple tree technology using whether it's AI algorithms or just using tree branches where they tediously type out every comment themselves and they do it better. The Phoenix Wright series do it better. There was a Sherlock Holmes game that did it better. And it's just one of those things where the mistakes of the past will come back and haunt you. Ubisoft's stock price slipped further last month after weaker than expected quarterly sales. Yeah, the Star Wars Outlaws situation did not help anybody. And that's the thing that's kind of dumbfounding for most people. When you think about Star Wars and how that property and IP just has money attached to it, how do you fumble that bag? You want to know how you fumble it? You make it a Far Cry game, but for 3D in space. Nobody asked for that. You had the chance to write a unique, interesting story, but you could just see the writing on the wall with all the things that. And from what I could see, it has good gunplay, but you can't just have good gunplay. It has to be the best. When you put out a game for $70, $90, it's got to be the best. And Assassin's Creed Shadow is in danger because it's releasing in February next to Monster Hunter. 2 different genres. But if you wanted to buy both games and you heard one company might be going under, where are you thinking about putting your money? After that first delay, it's some credit. I'm trying to find a silver lining. I should never have to do that with a AAA game. I should never have to find a silver lining with a AAA game. It should come inherent that they have done something innovative. Like, tell me something that game has done to innovate the genre. You can't do it. You can't do it. But, you know, a lot of people think about when they think about this is just, what does this mean? So as of September 11th of this year, conversations about buying the company out were up in the air. And on the 11th of September, you could get Ubisoft at $13. I could buy 10% of Ubisoft and be a 10% shareholder with my whole entire stock portfolio. Today, with that same amount of money, I could own probably close to 23%. The same amount that Tencent owns in Ubisoft shares, because it is so low. It's $2.95. I'm not giving financial advice here. Don't do this. Don't buy this. Don't do this. Don't buy this. But I share all of this to say, if and when Ubisoft goes under, it's important that we point blame to the past and not the future. It's important that we realize that they've been asking the CEO to step down since September of this year. It's important to remember that they did 4 reconstructurings while in development of 6 games where only 3 of them were released. It's important to not harass the development. It's important because the developers don't get to make the decisions. They just get to do the work. It's important for you to use more than 2 brain cells and realize that a black samurai being in a video game isn't why the game failed. It's important for us to point the finger even as early as Watch Dogs 1, when they decided to let a PC rendering trick a bunch of people who are playing for a game on a PlayStation 3 to believe that this game would have the graphical capabilities to do what they did in an E3 showcase. It's important for us to direct our jeers towards the owners, the product managers, the CEO and the board of directors who allowed their game to slip into the mediocrity that it is today. When Assassin's Creed Shadow comes out, I'm going to play that game. And if the game is dog water, I'll be the first motherfucker to tell you it was dog water. Ubisoft don't pay me that much. You feel me? But I think it's more important for us to judge the characteristics of a game on game lines and not on the owners who will never get to really experience the letdown that the host of people who are waiting for this game to be. Because the success of this game really does open the door up for bigger, better opportunities. And when a lackluster company that doesn't really care about the social identities that go into making games, it causes a ripple effect like this. Their careless and callous ways of handling this game and their inability to manage their company has had a reverberating effect on people who just wanted to enjoy this game for what it was, for what it will be. But we can't do that anymore because the simple defense of us wanting to play a game now looks like the defense of me wanting to defend Ubisoft. That isn't the case. It's far from it. I have the ability to think critical, unlike most people who want to conflate and put everything together. But that's neither here or there. I don't have to explain myself to people that understand what real looks like. Real understand real. And some of y'all look familiar to me. Clap it. For the rest of y'all, why don't you try liking, sharing, and subscribing? Maybe, just maybe, then you can see eye to eye.